What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And a little early in the day, a little stream here, because for some reason the NHL decided to do the draft lottery at 6:30 p.m. I guess they wanted to do it before the games tonight, which kind of makes sense in the realistic point of view here. But, it's kind of an odd time here, but we're still going to stream. We're still going to talk with the boys. We're going to react, and we're going to see if the Flyers get lucky in this draft lottery. They're probably not. I'm just, going in this with no expectations at all. Because if you're just looking at the Flyers in general, they're at 12th worst in the league or something like that. They got the 12th overall pick if everything were to be normal. And the only way they can move up is getting the second overall pick in the draft. That's the highest they can move up, actually. They can't even get the first overall pick because you can only move up no more than 10 spots. So the Flyers' best chance to get a very high draft pick is somehow getting lucky and getting second overall. I believe they can land anywhere between 2 and 12, but I just don't see that as likely. And we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. There was some funny things going on this afternoon in terms of possible accidental leak, which I don't know if it's true or not. It probably isn't, but I wouldn't be shocked if it is at the same time, because Butchie from ESPN, he's the one that's hosting the draft lottery at the NHL studios, and he showed a picture of the studio, and you saw in the background the draft lottery board, and you kind of saw an order where it showed that the Sharks and the new Utah NHL team won the draft lottery, San Jose staying at first overall, where they were expected to be, and Utah, which is still very weird to say, the Arizona, now Utah Hockey Club, whatever their name they're going to be, they get the second overall pick. That was the quote-unquote accidental leak. Like I said, I don't expect that to be the case. We'll have to ride it out and see what we're doing here. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. That's the luck of the draw. That's where the ping pong balls land. It's basically first overall, getting Macklin Celebrini from Boston University. He's the consensus first overall pick. Obviously, like I said, the Flyers cannot get up that high. The highest they can get is second overall. And basically, when you go from one, the only consensus pick right now is Celebrini, and that's basically it. And then when you go from 2 to 12, it's a coin flip between who goes where and what spots. Maybe Demidov, a lot of connections with Matvei Michkov in the KHL. There's a chance he goes second overall. There's a chance he drops just because of the Russian connection, and maybe teams still a little afraid to wait for Russian players. There's a lot of people that can drop. There's a lot of people that can be taken. That's the weird thing with this draft this year, because it's not like a notoriously strong draft in terms of this is where this guy is going, this is where that guy is going, basically like last year's draft, where it was kind of obvious where guys were going to go, minus a few surprise picks. But I still believe there is a chance for Danny Briere and the Flyers to get a very good player in this draft, just because there's so much parity with a lot of the picks that could possibly happen, and we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I don't know, man. I don't know, man. And there's a bunch of stuff talking about surrounding Matvei Michkov. I believe an article came out a little bit ago from Alexander Appleyard talking about Matvei Michkov and the KHL, their organization, that, they think it would be best for him to come to the NHL if that were the case. But at the end of the day, it's up to Matvei. What I think is going to happen, best case scenario, he comes in here, he's at training camp for this year's Flyers squad to start the season, and he's starting the season with the Flyers. I think what likely will happen, I think he comes over at the end of the next KHL season, well, this upcoming KHL season, basically next season, so 24-25, when that KHL season ends, that's when he comes over. I think that's when he's going to come over and dress up in the orange and the black. I do expect that from Matvei Michkov. It's really exciting, though. It's really exciting. You see him working out in the Flyers shirt today, so a lot of exciting stuff here, man, a lot of exciting stuff. And going back to players that, that I'm just thinking about that could land with the Flyers. A big name for me, in my honest opinion, because for some reason he is falling down the draft board, even though this guy is shattering Cole Caulfield's records with the USNDP, the United States National Development Program. Cole Eiserman, he is shattering Cole Caulfield's goal scoring records. A lot of scouts have him as the best pure goal scorer in the draft, and for some reason he's falling down the draft boards. At the beginning of this draft, when a lot of the mock drafts started at the beginning of the season, he was a very top 5 consensus pick, and then over the course of the year, he was just falling down the draft boards to where as low as he could possibly be is like 12 or 13, right around where the Flyers pick, and getting a Cole Eiserman in there, I think that would bode really well for the Flyers, but there's other things that they can go to. I did talk to some people just discussing what could possibly happen in terms of other players that could be drafted. I'm trying to see other things here because I'm just trying to see overall other draft picks here. So other guys that you can look out for is Canton, Yakimchuk, and Helenas, names that are possibly that could fall around the Flyers spot. And if we look at a bunch of mock drafts right now, a lot of things, Helenas, he's a center from, I believe he plays over in Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Canton is a forward from Spokane. Who else am I Yakimuk, I'm not sure where. He's a right-handed defenseman from Calgary, playing in the WHL. And Helenas is playing in Liga, and Canton is playing in the WAHL. And then Cole Eiserman, he's committed to Boston University, coming out of the USNDP. So that'll be something. He's committed to Boston College, so that'll be a very interesting thing. Boston College going deep into the NCAA men's hockey tournament. So that would be a very good program for a guy like Cole Eiserman to go to. So that would be very exciting. But like I said, if you're just looking at the draft, I'm looking at Tankathon right now. But if I go to I believe Bob McKenzie released his official draft rankings. I probably should have brought this up earlier if I'm not mistaken. So if we go to Bob McKenzie and his draft rankings right now, so obviously number 1 he has Macklin Celebrini, number 2 he has Ivan Demidov, Anton Silyev is number 3. I believe he's a 6'7" defenseman, so this guy's an absolute package right there. Artem Lushinov, he is number 4. He plays at Michigan State. He is a defenseman, Belarusian defenseman, actually, that plays at Michigan State. Caden Lindstrom, he plays in the WHL, 6'3" forward, center as well. Sam Dickinson, who plays for the London Knights. I believe he is a defenseman. I believe Keith Jones likes him a lot, so he's ranked highly in this draft. Zane Perrick, he is a defenseman that plays in the OHL. Zeev Buium plays at Denver University, ranked number 8. Helenas, who plays in Liga, he's below 6 foot. He's 17 years old, so he's one of the younger players in the draft, but a lot of people are high on him. Ty Aginla, Jerome Aginla's son, a lot of people are high on him. Berkeley Canton, ranked 11. Carter Yakimchuk, number 12. Cole Eiserman's ranked 13 on Bob McKenzie's list, so definitely somewhere right around where the Flyers could pick, especially, at number 12, so that would be very good. Just a description of Cole Eiserman. He's seen his stock plummet throughout the season. He dropped 10 spots from the midseason rankings, but he's still viewed perhaps as the best pure shooter and goal scorer in the draft. So, you can never deny going after goal scorers. That's something the Flyers still desperately need. And I think the Flyers overall, they have 2.5% chance of winning the draft, but for some reason Tankathon has all these weird odds. And if I'm just looking at things right here, because I'm trying to compare it to what last year had for a lot of the teams, and the one that sticks out to me is Anaheim, because it was very similar to what Chicago had last year. They're either moving up or moving down. But at this point, we have no idea. We have no goddamn clue what's going to happen. So it's basically a wait-and-see process. Do I expect the Flyers to move up to 2? No. No, I do not. They didn't get luck in the goddamn Connor Bedard sweepstakes, even though they got Matvei Michkov. I'm very happy with Matvei Michkov. It's just, Flyers luck in draft lotteries and all that stuff. They never won a draft lottery in their life, and the one time that they did have an epic move-up, sadly, there was the whole Nolan Patrick situation, and it was just an unfortunate situation with Nolan Patrick. Could just never stay healthy. That wasn't really the Flyers' fault. Even though there was a lot of stuff that came out about the scouts, one thing, Miro Heiskanen over Patrick and Hextall over went his scouts because he wanted to pick the guy from his, junior team that he played for. So we'll definitely wait and see. So, any time now at this point, the draft lottery results should be happening. They're just going over and talking right now. I believe they're talking with Macklin Celebrini, if I'm not mistaken, who is projected to be the first overall pick consensusly. So it's an entire wait and see process. It's an entire wait and see process. Yeah. The one thing that you just don't want is the Flyers to drop. The one thing you just don't want is the Flyers to drop. And it looks like the representatives of the teams are not there in the NHL studios. They're on their Zoom meeting or Zoom call, whatever it is. So we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait a little bit until they want to eventually do these draft lottery polls. And like I said, bringing up earlier from the leaks and all that stuff, the quote-unquote accidental leaks, they kept saying it was all during rehearsals and all that stuff. So wait and see. If we see San Jose win and Utah get number 2, it was an accidental leak, and Bucci kind of screwed it up. Remember last year when Kevin Weeks, going into one of the commercial breaks before the first overall pick was announced, he said, "Oh, Chicago wins the draft lottery," before we even knew anything? I'm like, are you goddamn serious? So I'm sure the NHL and ESPN are probably trying to prevent that from happening again. So that's probably why Bucci deleted that tweet. And they all went through, oh, this was, this was rehearsals and all that stuff. We were rehearsing just in case something happened. You never know. It's a wait and see process. It is. And also just a little bit of updating here for later tonight for the Phillies recap. Well, we won't do a Phillies recap tonight because I did forget that they're playing in the afternoon tomorrow, so it'll be a very quick turnaround. So basically, I'll just recap this 2-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays after tomorrow's game. So I'll wait for that. It just seems like the easier thing to do instead of just doing one review tonight and then 1 o'clock game tomorrow. It just seemed like the easier thing there. Just a little update for you guys here that are in the stream and tune into the Phillies recaps. But I do see you here, Sean. Yeah, Utah Yetis. I don't know what their name's going to be. There are some names that I do like. There's some names that I don't like. I wouldn't be shocked if they start the season just as the Utah Hockey Club, but going the Washington football team route. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case, but I feel like they do have a name in place. They're just waiting to announce it. Chuck Fletcher representing the orange and the black. I want to gag. Think about that. I would gag. Honestly. Jesus. Disgusting. Ugh. Chuck Fletcher. Ugh. Ugh. What are the games that are playing tonight? I believe it's Rangers and Carolina. That's game 2 for that series. And then the other game, I believe it's one of the first West Coast games to be played tonight. I believe it's it's Dallas and Colorado. That should be a good series. That should be a very fun series. The Colorado and Dallas squeaking out of Game 7 with the Vegas Golden Knights. That was an entertaining series. A lot of the first round series were kind of meh, in my honest opinion. First round was kind of a little bit of a letdown. Not gonna lie. There were quite a few series that were entertaining, obviously, Boston almost choking the 3-1 series lead, and then eventually Toronto just having another heartbreak and another playoff failure. That's just always hilarious. And then, I think there was only 2 Game 7s in the entirety of the first round. There was a lot of 5-game series, some 6-game series in there. Overall, just not the best. Vancouver escaped using like 3 different types of goaltenders. Colorado made easy work of Winnipeg, which I was not expecting whatsoever. I thought Winnipeg would have put more of a fight up, especially with Connor Hellebuck, but they just couldn't stop the Colorado offense, especially Nathan McKinnon. What else? Rangers, easy work of Washington, obviously. Carolina beating the Islanders, I believe, in 5-6 games. What other series were there? Florida beating Tampa in 5 games, and then also Boston beating Florida yesterday in game 1 of that series. So definitely going to be some interesting stuff here now. Bucci Cross is talking to Gary Bettman. They're going to drag this thing out as long as it takes. They say, oh, the draft lottery's results are going to be at 6:30. No, they're not. They're not. They probably know the results already at this point. They probably did the drawing already. They're just waiting to do all this crap, and they're going to drag it out as long as possible. It's what they always do. Eh. You think the Flyers are going to end up picking 8th overall? It definitely is a random pick. I wouldn't be like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if the Flyers moved up because that would be the Flyers' luck. American loyal. My West Coast team, the Knights losing Stars won despite the Boar coaching who got drunk after Ward's celebration, but none of this matters. The Oilers are winning the league is screwed once his score. they're I don't know if it got leaked. I don't know if you could believe it because they're saying it was all rehearsals. So they were saying it's a bunch of rehearsals from that Buccigross tweet. So we'll wait and see, American loyalist. We'll wait and see, man. We'll wait and see if the leak was if that quote unquote was an actual mistaken leak, or if it was actually just a rehearsal and the NHL just told Buccigross to delete the tweet so people wouldn't talk about it. Even though deleting the tweet probably means people will talk about it more because, oh, why'd you delete the tweet? Oh, I got screenshot receipts of it. That's what happens. Okay, here we go with the draft lottery. Should figure out what the Flyers are right now. So we're going to the 16th overall pick. This should be the St. Louis Blues. Should be the St. Louis Blues at 16. So here we go. Might as well turn this up so you guys can hear it. St. Louis Blues. 15th overall pick. This should be Detroit. Detroit stays there. Pittsburgh should be 14. If everything goes as it is. This will be Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 13 should be the Minnesota Wild, barring any move up. Would have moved to next year had the Penguins got into the top 10, but they stay at 14, so my career picks at 14. 13th overall pick, this should be the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild. Yep, here's your moment of truth, seeing that the Flyers picked 12th. This is where the Flyers should be if everything was normal. Belongs to Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers are staying at 12. Like I said, I wasn't expecting them to move up. Yeah. So, now they're talking to Celebrini, so it looks like they're going to be waiting a little bit here. Honestly, loyalist, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the truth, if that was an actual leak and they just went to redo the draft. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the Flyers to move up. I wasn't expecting. The odds were just not in their favor at all. They would have to be. They weren't getting as lucky as they were in 2017. 11th overall pick. This should be Buffalo. Buffalo Sabres. 10th overall pick. This should be the New Jersey Devils, but never know the New Jersey Devils and their goddamn draft lottery luck lately. Devils. Okay, Devils stay at 10. 9 should be Calgary. 9 should be Calgary. And actually, with the Pittsburgh pick, since they didn't move into the top 10, it's now a San Jose's pick. So I guess Pittsburgh will like to move their pick to San Jose. So Pittsburgh will not have a first-round pick in this draft. I think at least, unless they have Carolina's pick. Yep, there's Cole Eiserman beating Cole Caulfield's all-time goals record in the United States Development Program, 127 to Cole Caulfield's 126. Okay, here comes number 9. This should be Calgary. Calgary Flames, okay. Number 8 should be Seattle. This should be Seattle. Yep, this is the Seattle Kraken. Number 7 should be Ottawa. The 7th overall selection in the 2024 NHL Draft will be made by Ottawa. Okay, here we go. 6th. Let's see if that leak was real. The accidental leak. This should be Utah. This should be Utah. If it didn't. Okay, the leak wasn't real. Utah stays at 6. 5 should be Montreal unless they move up. This should be Montreal. Montreal Canadiens staying at 5. 4 should be Columbus. 4 should be Columbus. So far, no one's moved up in the draft at all. Yeah, so far, no one has moved up, which is very shocking for the NHL Draft Lottery. Usually you see like a surprise thing happen. I guess with the new lottery rules, they're like, it's preventing a lot of teams from moving up now. If Chicago gets the first overall pick again, this shit's rigged, Sean. He's a defenseman, a guy playing for the London Knights and Dale Hunter, and a guy who can play a two-way great game. We'll see what happens there. Back to you. If Chicago wins the draft lottery again, I'll be mad. 4th overall pick, this should be Columbus. Unless, yep, Columbus Blue Jackets, top 3. The top 3 picks will be Anaheim, Chicago, and San Jose. We'll just find out who gets 2 and 1. If Chicago wins the draft lottery 2 years in a row. Well, here's the thing. If Chicago wins this draft lottery, they can't pick first overall for the next 3 years after this. Because the new rules state that in a 5-year span, they can't win the draft lottery more than twice. So, I guess I'll read the draft lottery rules for you guys. Why not? Because they're going to the commercial break before they reveal the 3 picks. So, let's see. Obviously, first rule, all teams missing the playoffs are in the lottery. Teams with the least amount of points get more chances at winning the lottery. The first overall pick is awarded by a drawing of ping pong balls. A team can only jump 10 spots, so only the top 11 teams are eligible for the first overall pick. If a team in the 12 to 16 range wins the first drawing, the first pick will be awarded to the worst team, which is the San Jose Sharks. The 12 to 16 C team that won the first drawing is also locked into their new position. So that's interesting there. A second drawing is held to determine the other lottery winner. Like the first drawing, the second winner can only jump 10 spots, but this time it is using a reseeded order following the first drawing. This is the second drawing will not affect the teams with locked-in positions from the first drawing. If a 10 spot jump is the pick, okay, that's weird. Teams are only allowed to improve their positioning via the lottery twice in a 5-year period, beginning with the 2022 lottery. So, Chicago won last year, the first overall pick, and if they were to win this year, they can't move up again. They can't move up again. Even if they get the second overall pick, probably, they can't move up. Again, I would assume at least. I would assume. So, in a 5-year span, so from, what was it, last year, 23? So 23, the next time they can, if they were to win it again, the next time they would be able to win it wouldn't be until after 2028. So, that would be the thing right there. Jesus. Honestly, if you're a Flyers fan, are you rooting for the Boston Bruins to beat the Florida Panthers just so that the Flyers pick from Florida is better? Honestly, you could say that. I wouldn't mind that. I hate Boston. I would hate cheering for Boston. I do have Florida in my mock draft, in my, bracket going to the conference finals and losing to the Rangers, but I also wouldn't mind if Boston beat Florida because the Flyers pick, that would mean the Flyers pick is better. I wouldn't mind that at all. Would not mind that at all. But yeah, kind of a lackluster NHL Draft Lottery, not gonna lie. I have a lackluster one. I mean, if a team really deserves to get a first overall pick here, I think San Jose really deserves it. Just so they can have a star, a face of the franchise, honestly. I think that's what they desperately need. Chicago already has Bedard, but I wouldn't be shocked if they could get Celebrini too. If they get Bedard and Celebrini, Jesus fucking Christ, the league is rigged. Oh, Jesus. Well, looks like they're getting back here, so we should be finding out these results soon. So let's see. So either Anaheim, Chicago, or San Jose. So we'll see what happens. I would be a little bit angry if Anaheim. So here comes 3. This should be Anaheim. This should be Anaheim. Yep. So 1 and 2 is Chicago and San Jose. So we're just gonna find out who gets the first overall pick. We'll find out who gets the first overall pick. Let's see. First overall pick, San Jose or Chicago? San Jose. The draft lottery order stayed the exact same from the odds. So 1 is San Jose and 2 is Chicago. So, good for San Jose. Good for San Jose. They need a guy that could be the face of the franchise. And that could possibly be Celebrini. Good for their franchise. Good for their franchise. What pick did the Flyers get? They got pick 12. They stayed exactly where they were expected to. So, you're thinking of some guys there. There's some guys the Flyers definitely could. I think they can get a good player at 12. No doubt. Good player at 12, I can definitely expect that. If Cole Eiserman drops, I wouldn't be shocked if Danny Briere takes him. I would not be shocked. I don't think Danny Briere would move up in this draft. I would rather think he would like to keep the picks unless he makes a big blockbuster trade for someone else. But, you know, I think, let's see. This is San Jose's first time drafting first overall. When is the draft? I think it's at the end of June. At the end of June, if I'm not mistaken. At the end of June is the NHL draft. It's usually like a week or two after the NHL draft, at the Stanley Cup final. That's usually when it is. But yeah. No big changes, no dramatic chaos here in the draft lottery. It was all normal. No one moved. No one moved up, no one moved back. Everyone stayed the same. Everyone stayed the same. Utah deserved it more. It would have been fun to see Utah, I guess, get the first overall pick, but that would also be a very big smack in the face to Arizona fans. That would have been a huge smack in the face. Never winning the draft lottery while they're in Arizona, but first time Utah gets it, they win the draft lottery. I'd be kind of pissed if I was a Coyotes fan, honestly, if that were the case. Oh, yeah, 100% I'm watching the draft, no doubt. No doubt. My eyes are going to be locked in. I'm going to do more research on the draft, too, just on specific players I want. The obvious pick for me is Cole Eiserman, just because I believe if he falls to 12, I feel like that's something you just can't pass up on, in my opinion, especially since, you know, he broke Cole Caulfield's record in the National Development League. So, I think that's what they need, in my personal opinion. I think that's what they desperately need. But, yeah, no chaos. No chaos at all. Craziness. Man. Yeah, everyone's saying, oh, thank God Chicago didn't win it. Everyone's saying Chicago didn't win it. Yeah, everyone's shocked that there is no change. Man. Man. How many rounds are there in the draft? There's 7 rounds. There are 7 rounds. People are saying, oh, so there was no reason to televise this. That's funny. That's funny. What else? What else? No, I don't think there's anything else. It's a pretty boring day. Pretty boring draft lottery, not gonna lie. Pretty boring draft lottery, but hey. As long as freaking Chicago and Anaheim, because Anaheim from the perspective of the whole Cutter Gauthier situation, I'm happy Anaheim didn't win it, and Chicago because they won first overall last year. Oh, Jesus. Chris is steam. Is he actually steaming? Is he actually mad? Watch them get a future Hall of Famer and Bedard wins his first cup against the Flyers. American loyalists, stop with the pessimism. Stop with the pessimism. What established Flyer do you see being dealt? I could see Farabee. I could see Frost. I could definitely... if I'm thinking of, like, Flyers right now in the offseason, what Danny Briere does, I'm thinking... I think Risto's gone. I think... I don't think Atkinson's going to be here next year, barring a trade or a buyout. I don't think they're going to buy him out, though. I would assume they try to trade him just to get, off the books. I wouldn't be shocked if Couturier is traded, honestly, with this whole agent stuff. I wouldn't be shocked if he requested a trade if we just don't know about it yet. Hey, trading one of these guys, say if you trade a Farabee, could that just open up a space because Mitch Kopp's coming over and you can afford to trade someone away? Because you're not trading Forrester, you're not trading away Owen Tippett because you already locked him up. You're very stacked the wing depth. Your wing depth is insanely deep. You could definitely afford to trade someone to get someone. So I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. There's many ties to the Flyers with, Trevor Zegras, blah, 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 blah. I believe also with, who's the Chikarin, the defenseman from Ottawa. There's a lot of ties there. So we're just going to wait. Just going to have to wait. Oh, the Phillies took a 1-0 lead. I should probably turn the Phillies game on. I should probably turn the Phillies game on. Should probably turn those on. It looks like the Phillies just took a 1-0 lead. Nick Castellanos with a double. Don't let Nick Castellanos get hot. Don't let Nick Castellanos get hot. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's see. Let's see. Who was the second overall pick? Chicago. Chicago's second overall pick. Or who was expected to go second overall? That is... Did Castellanos just get picked off at second base? Are they challenging it? Let's see. It's close. It's close. How about them Phils? Yeah, the Phils are fun. Phils are must-watch TV right now. They definitely are. Are they challenging it? I'm assuming they are. I'm assuming they are. But hey, nice 1-0 lead for the Phillies. Nick Castellanos with that double. Always nice to see. But yeah. Cole Eiserman right now is my pick for the Flyers. That's hopefully he falls that far. Where did Utah land? They stayed at 6. They stayed at 6. If you look at the entire draft lottery odds, just look in that order, that's where everyone stayed. They stayed in their expected spots. No one moved. No one moved. Is he out? He's probably out. He looks more out than safe. That's what I'll say. He looks more out than safe. But knowing MLB, they'll say it's too close and there's not enough. Let me see. Is he out? Is he out? Is he out? Is he up? He's out. He got picked off at second base. Classic Nick Castellanos. Classic. But yeah. I think very anticlimactic draft lottery, even though I wasn't expecting much from the Flyers' perspective. They stay at 12, so that's fine by me. I think they can get a good player at 12 because this draft lottery is a coin flip besides like between the after first overall. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. So yeah. I think that's all we got here. Like I said, for people that are either just tuning in or have been tuning in for the entire time or just didn't hear me say it, there won't be a Phillies recap tonight. I'll save the recap for after tomorrow afternoon's game because I just realized they're playing it at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So I thought it would be easier to have, instead of doing a recap tonight, then one tomorrow afternoon, just do both games in one. So make it easier on us. So, yeah, that's where we'll stand tonight. Like I said, we'll do more research into the draft, what the Flyers could do possibly with their 2 picks, and we'll see where we'll go from there. But, thanks, guys, for tuning in tonight. Sadly, it was an anticlimactic draft lottery, no major jumps, but maybe that's for the best. So, thanks, guys, for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. Also, use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.